Hey everyone, so I'm just going to give my thoughts on Castlevania Season 2. First off, I'm going to give my spoiler-free thoughts, then I'm going to go into an in-depth look at every episode. This is a more unscripted video, so because of that, I might be rambling a little bit. I do have some notes for stuff I want to talk about. So, first off, great season. I really enjoyed it. I loved the interactions between the characters, especially our trio, Alucard, Sypha, and Trevor. I love the interactions they had. I love how Alucard and Trevor like kind of hate each other's guts, but also have mutual respect for each other, and like just playfully teasing. Also, Alucard and Sypha are very good friends, and I like the relationship they had. And of course, Trevor and Sypha shipping super hard. I also like the introduction of some new characters that I'll get into later. I loved Dracula like struggling with what he's doing and everything, and just Alucard struggling with his humanity. It's really good. I loved this season. I don't know if there's going to be a third season. If there is, awesome. If there isn't, I'd be perfectly fine with that because this season ended so perfectly. So, with that said, let's get into it. So spoilers ahead, obviously. I'm going to put up a little spoiler warning. I'm not going to show any footage other than, the trailer that you're seeing now. But I'm not going to... there will be some spoilers. So, first things first. Sadly, again, no Grant. There was no Grant this time around. But you know what? I don't think the series needs him. It was fine without Grant. As much as I would have loved to see him, unfortunately, no. But we do get some new characters this season, such as Hector and Isaac from Curse of Darkness. Hector being pretty much the same, only he's not a good guy this time around. He's just kind of like not really a bad guy. I want to put this up right now. Hashtag Hector did nothing wrong. But he's a very interesting character, and I really liked him. And Isaac, instead of being the pasty, white, flamboyant guy that he is in the game, he's actually a very well-spoken... not that Isaac wasn't well-spoken, but he's a very, charismatic, charming, and also kind of, intimidating African man. And I don't know who voices him, but he sounds like somebody from Black Panther. I could be wrong, but he was great. I liked what they did with Isaac, and I love the backstories they give him. So I'm going to go into an in-depth analysis of each episode. So episode 1 starts off with a flashback of the day that the church destroyed Lisa's house, and again. Right away, you really hate how corrupt the church is. I love the chemistry between Trevor and Sypha. I love the introduction of Hector and Isaac. You really start to feel for Dracula, and that's something that continues. Like, I already felt bad for Dracula in Season 1, but in Season 2, you really start to feel bad for Dracula. There are a couple of great references to Curse of Darkness, obviously, with Hector and Isaac, but even Symphony of the Night, there's a scene where Dracula moves the castle, and the device he used looks like the save device from Symphony of the Night. I love that. There's a scene at the end where Alucard is drawing his mother and father in the dirt, and he's really struggling with his humanity, and I really like that. A great first episode. Episode 2 introduces Carmilla, and you hate her. She is a bitch. She's a very hateable villain, and I love that. She really manipulates everyone and really gets deep in there. Also, I love the relationship that Alucard and Trevor have. There's a scene where Sypha's like, I'm gonna leave, and you two try to kill each other when we're gone. They're like, oh yeah, we're fine. And then Trevor just turns and he's like, eat shit and die. And Alucard's like, yes, fuck you. I really like that. That was great. I also really like the backstory they gave Isaac, how he was just a poor, orphan child who was taken in by someone, and he just wanted to help, and he ended up whipping the shit out of him and just treating him like garbage, and then Isaac just kind of snapped and killed him. And I don't blame the guy for hating humans after that.
Also, Slugger and Gaibon were in this episode, and wow, that made me really happy. This whole fight was so awesome, seeing Alucard and
Trevor work together to fight, and Sypha stole the show. Oh my god, so you really see how powerful Sypha is. But I just had to bring up Slugger and Gaibon. Oh my god, that was so cool. I loved seeing them. Even if they weren't in it for long, it was still a great cameo. Episode 3 was really cool. I loved learning about the Belmont past. The mention of Leon really made me smile. You really get to fear not only Dracula in this episode, but Carmilla as well. He really just... Whew, there's a scene where Dracula was like intimidating this character, Godbrand, who's another vampire, and it was very intimidating. And you really just start to feel Dracula and Carmilla. Ooh, she was pretty creepy, pretty scary. Again, a very hateable villain, and I like that. Alucard's sense of humor is really enjoyable, and I'm loving the relationship the characters have with each other, and they're really starting to bond, which is very enjoyable. Plus, Trevor finding the Morning Star Whip was so awesome. I'm like, oh, I finally get the chain whip. It was great. So episode 4, there's a moment where we're learning about Trevor's name, and how there was a guy who'd travel with Leon named Treffer, and and Slifer calls him Treffy Belmont, and I loved that. So yeah, really enjoying the adventures of Treffy Belmont. Carmilla continues to be a manipulative bitch in this one. Plus, you really feel bad for Dracula here. Like, all of his friends are turning on him, and it's upsetting to watch. And you really feel bad for the poor guy. He lost his wife, he lost his friends, but Isaac is still super loyal, and I like that a lot. Just the relationship between Dracula and Isaac was great. Of course, what Dracula's doing is wrong, but you understand it, and here they start building the relationship between Sypha and Trevor. There's a scene where like they kind of like sit down next to each other, and Sypha falls asleep on Trevor's shoulder, and it was really cute. I loved it. So in episode 5, Alucard and Sypha have great chemistry in this one. I love how they get along, and also Isaac and Hector have a great conversation too. And of course, we get to see more of Carmilla's meddling, and she's really becoming a huge pain in the ass for Dracula. And we finally, oh my gosh, we finally get to see Dracula in action in this episode, and it was equally as badass as it was horrifying, because he just goes in there and just murders like 40 people, and just, oh, it was gruesome, and it was awesome, and I loved it. Really cool. Episode 6, there was a lot of good action from Trevor in this one, fighting a bunch of like demons and stuff. And here's where you see Carmilla's betrayal. But she does get what she deserves, as Sypha, kind of moves the castle with magic, and like there's a scene where like after it's done, Carmilla just looks in pure shock and just goes, "What the fuck just happened?" I love that. Of course, the magic from Sypha is so good, and the trio's finally starting to work together as a team, and I really loved that. And also, again, Hector did nothing wrong. He was just trying to help his friend. And now he's Carmilla's bitch. Episode 7. I am not going to sugarcoat this at all. Episode 7 was the best episode of the entire series. Oh my god, I loved every single moment of this episode. The build-up at the beginning was so awesome. Where like the trio walk right through the front door of Dracula's castle, and then they start playing an orchestral version of Bloody Tears. Oh, that was so awesome. That got me so hyped. I was so excited. And seeing the trio work together was awesome. And we got to see Wolf Alucard. The whole opening scene was the best part of the entire series. And seeing the trio fight Dracula together to the theme song of the show was amazing. And oh my god, Alucard versus Dracula was shonen as fuck. It was so good. I loved that. The best episode of the series. Also, watching Dracula die was more painful for me than him. It was tough to watch. You really, really feel bad for the guy. As soon as he like stops fighting as soon as he stops fighting Alucard and realizes what he's doing, he kind of like breaks down and he's like, "Lisa, I'm killing our son." And I'm like, oh no, I felt so bad for him. And he like Alucard's like has tears in his eyes as he's like staking him. It was tough to watch. It's episode 8. So Sypha broke the castle. I just want to get that out. It's Sypha's fault. I love that little exchange. Also, Trevor did a super nice thing for Alucard. He gave him the Belmont hold as his home. That was so nice. It was so nice of him. Also, don't fuck with Isaac. Wow, Isaac's pissed. There's a scene where like a bunch of people were just treating him like garbage, and he just slaughtered them. So I think he's going to be like a major antagonist in Season 3, if that happens. In addition to that, Carmilla's a bitch. And Hector did nothing wrong. Now Hector is Carmilla's pet, and she's probably going to be a big antagonist for Season 3 if it happens, but I honestly don't know if it will. Also, again, Trevor Sypha ship hard. Can't wait for the legend of Bernades and Belmont. I love that bit. It was really fun. Also, why'd you have to end it on Alucard crying? That was really sad. The season ends with Alucard sitting in Dracula's chair and just crying over his mother. And his father. Oh, it was so sad. But yeah, that was Castlevania Season 2. I loved it. A little surprised. Not surprised, but like a little upset that they didn't include Grant. But I am surprised that Death was nowhere to be seen. Like, Death is a huge antagonist in the Castlevania series, so I'm very surprised they didn't include Death at all. But I loved this season, and like I said, if they added a third season, awesome. If they don't and just leave it at this, that's fine. They ended it so well. I loved it. I really loved it. It was so good. Episode 7, again, I'm going to go back and watch that over and over again. That orchestral Bloody Tears, as soon as I heard the Bloody Tears song start, I like literally stood up and started getting so like giddy. Like, it's so good. I loved it. Yeah, I really enjoyed this season. Definitely going to go back and watch it again. Definitely give it a shot if you haven't watched it. Also, if you haven't watched it, like, why are you this far into the video? Don't watch this video unless you've seen the anime. Spoilers. But I loved it. Loved it. Can't stress enough how much I loved it. Yeah, I really enjoyed this season. I think it was so well done. So well done. And I hope there's a Season 3. But if there's not, I won't be upset. So, come back tomorrow when there's a special little surprise for you guys. So, I'll see you then.